I spent so many years of my life listening to rap music, right? And I think that over the past few years, there's been a bit of a decline. And then there's this term called fast food music, right? A lot of the time, these younger artists, they release projects and it feels like the projects have been very rushed. The quality's not there, so they don't have longevity, right? So that leads me on to just thinking about the last few albums in the last maybe 7, 8 years that I would consider classic. They've all pretty much been from legacy acts. And I feel like all of those albums, they clearly took a considerable amount of time and a lot of thought was put behind them. Like if I go back to like 2017, I think Jay-Z 444 is a classic album, right? The reason with that being classic is that it was just him and No ID, one producer. I think that the features that he used were very good. There were no rap features. It was just Frank Ocean on one song. And you know what? I think it was just Frank Ocean on one song, actually. He was on every other song on his own. Very personal album. Good content. And you can hear from the production it took time, right? Next classic album, probably what? Pusha T, Daytona. Daytona is a Rolex. When Pusha T did interviews, he was saying that Daytona means the luxury of time. He's able to create a classic album because he's able to spend time on his work. And the fact that he's put himself in a financial position where he doesn't need to run to get the bag. No, he's mentally in a good, clear space so that you can put 100% in the music and you can hear it from the quality of that. The next classic album since Daytona, some people might say Kids See Ghosts is a classic, Kid Cudi and Kanye. I would say maybe it's a cult classic, but people don't really talk about that being a classic album. But songs like Reborn, Cudi Montage, cool, good songs, right? And yeah, he's got content, right? Next classic album, probably what? I mean, maybe the off-season J. Cole, 2021, but he took a long time to make that. He had done no features for his previous 3 albums, so he handpicked Murray, 21 Savage, and Lil Baby for that album, right? I'm saying all of this to say, when you've got the luxury of time behind you, your projects are going to have more longevity. So I think it's important not to make fast food music. And when I come back to 2025 now, and I think about this Clipse album that just dropped, I need to actually talk about this album and talk about a lot of these tracks, right? Because when it comes to these albums, like it's very rare for me to listen to an album and like every single song. I can probably name on maybe one hand an album where I like every single song. Even someone like Kendrick, who I love a lot, or Jay-Z, my favorite rapper, I probably don't love every song from their albums. Maybe Jay-Z, The Blueprint, I like every song. Black Album, I like every song. Reasonable Doubt, okay, cool. Obviously Jay, but cool, he's my number one. But what I'm trying to say, but those albums were 20 plus years ago, right? For you to have an album where I like every single song is crazy. And even if I go through this album, it took them 2 years to make, right? And if I just go through the tracks, Birds Don't Sing, the intro of the album, talking about how their mom and dad died within 4 months. On the intro, like that would typically be an outro of an album. So to talk about something like that so heavy on the intro, John Legend on the chorus, what I love about the Clipse as well is that we know it's coke rap, but the fact that they're able to use the title, like Birds Don't Sing, if you just saw that title, you might think, okay, they're talking about cocaine, coke, birds, but they're talking about their parents. Amazing. Chains and Whips. Listen to that beat. Play No Church in the World. They sound so similar. No Church in the World. I think it might have won a Grammy, or was a Grammy award-winning or nominated song, right? One of Jay-Z and Kanye's best songs. Chains and Whips. Then you've got Kendrick on the song. He's put so much effort into that verse. That's a God-level verse. Pusha and Malice doing their thing. POV. Charlemagne said it. That could be the verse of the year from Pusha T. The chorus was amazing. Made 6 mil behind Tyvek. Like the stuff he's saying bar for bar is amazing. Every Malice line sounds like a piece of art. It sounds like he spends literally a day writing each bar. That's how intricate the stuff sounds. Tyler in the middle. Amazing. That feature was made for him. So be it. I don't even need to talk about that. Amazing song. Amazing beat. When Malice is like, you ain't believe, what did he say? He said, you ain't believe, God did, you ain't Khaled, or something like that. Like, amazing bars. Like, even when he came on, he was like, what did he say? He's like, you ain't valid, something, you ain't Malice. Just amazing, bar for bar, right? Ace trumpets, ballerinas doing pirouettes inside of my snow globe. Like who rhymes this kind of stuff? And it's kind of just like, yo, with the luxury of time, you can make this classic music. I need to talk about this album. This video might be 10 minutes of me raving about this album, but I don't even care. All things considered, I think that was a solo song. I don't know if Pharrell was on the hook. I can't really remember. But I remember liking that song, but I can't remember if that's the song I think it is. My favourite song on the album. What I love about Pusha T's albums, if you look at a lot of his albums, he's got these acronyms as the titles. So he's got MPA, Money, Pussy, Alcohol. He's got MFTR, More Famous Than Rich. He had FIFA. On this album, he had MTBTTF. Then he had EBITDA, FICO, Mike Tyson, Blow to the Face. I'm a big fan of Biggie, right? Life After Death is my album. When I heard Pusha T rapping a cappella, and even I heard on the Joe Budden podcast, Park saying it, the way that they're pronouncing on the end of each time Pusha T rhymes a word with S on the end, they do some vocal effect where it's got a bit of a lisp. When you hear Biggie rap, Biggie's got that lisp, right? So when you're hearing Pusha rap a cappella, it sounds like Biggie. And then after 20 seconds, when that beat comes in, it is so amazing. Like when I heard that, I couldn't get past that song. I had to read it up about 6-7 times. And then hearing Malice on the beat change as well. Such an amazing song, right? Or maybe the beat change was on the POV song. I can't even remember, but amazing song. EBITDA was probably the weakest song, but even then, it's an 8 out of 10. Not too much to say. FICO, Stove God Cooks, I haven't really heard about him too much, but I've heard of him. I've heard of him from Benny the Butcher, Griselda, and that's how I've heard him. Hearing him on the chorus, amazing chorus. FICO brought me back to Daytona, reminded me of a song like The Games We Play. I don't know what it is about that song, FICO. I love that. Even reminded me of the Pusha T Darkest Before Dawn album, right? Inglorious Bastards. Ab Live was on that song. It was one of them classic songs. Clue was on the beat as well, hearing his ad-libs. Amazing. And I'm just like, yo, to have the thoughtfulness, to be from Virginia, not from New York, and still bring Clue back. Because think about it, we've had on the Damn album, Kendrick had Kid Capri. We've heard Gangsta Grills or whatever, Tyler and DJ Drama. We've heard DJ Khaled. But to bring Clue back on this album, amazing. So far ahead. Pharrell on that chorus, amazing. I thought that could have been the outro of the album. So amazing, that beat, the chorus, and I love the way they do the choruses. Then the beat changes for the actual verses, and the beats is just so sinister. Amazing from Push and Malice. What I gotta say, I've noticed the album's 13 songs. Yeah, on 12 of the 13 songs, Pusha T actually starts the verse. He starts the songs. Yeah, Malice always comes in second. Now, because of we save the best till last, it might be easy to think that Malice is in prime position to be the better MC on here. But I think bar for bar, I don't want to say he outshone Push, but he's the MVP on this album for me. Bar for bar, Malice was absolutely killing it. And it's only on that last song, the song By the Grace of God, and with Malice leaving rap to be in the church and all that kind of stuff, him starting off that song, actually made sense to me mentally. But Let God Sort Him Out, the Chandelier song, I'm hearing the aggression in the lyrics with Malice and Push. I'm seeing Nas on the feature, so I'm thinking, yo, how's Nas gonna skate on this verse? And I hear the beat change, and I'm just like, yo, that beat was handpicked for Nas. And then it goes back to when I'm talking about Daytona, I'm talking about how the Clipse had the luxury of time with this album. It was so well thought out to have Nas on that song, because Nas was meant to be on Pusha's last album, when I think Hear Me Clearly. Nas would have spazzed on that beat. That would have been amazing, right? Didn't get on that. He got on this. Pharrell wanted Pusha T and Malice to just do 2 8s to that last beat change, but Pusha was listened to it, and he was like, no, that beat is made for Nas. He sent it to Nas. Nas was so excited, like, yo, this is made for me, handpicked. He done the verse, absolutely showed it. Arguably one of the best verses on the album. Feature verses, that might be the best. Might be better than Tyler's, and Tyler's was elite, Kendrick's was elite, but that Nas verse was crazy. Then going back to that last song, By the Grace of God. I think just going back to that God theme, starting the album with Birds Don't Cry, talking about your mum and dad, ending the album with Malice actually starting the song, talking about how God kind of looked out for them, about the grace of God they're here. Malice actually retiring from rap because a lot of people around them were getting raided. I remember him and Pusha were meant to catch a plane, and what happened on the plane is that normally they're in contact with each other. Pusha didn't get on the plane until the last minute. He wasn't picking up the phone. Malice got up in the aisle and he started screaming in front of everyone saying, yo, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm super paranoid. People are getting raided. He thought that his brother had been picked up at the airport. He ended up quitting after that. So it's like, by the grace of God, they're still here 25 years later. And I'm just like, yo, I don't want to call this album an instant classic, but for me to like 13 songs, for it to have the impact it's having, Justin Bieber calling the album out, absolute clown. Like, this is an amazing album. People are going to be talking about this for months to come. Amazing rollout. And it just does go to show, when you're authentic, when you put time behind your music, it's going to stand the test of time. I feel like all of Pusha T's albums have stood the test of time. Even the amount of people going back to Clipse albums, still listening to Grinding, still listening to songs like, I say Goddamn, but it's Cot Damn. Listening to songs like that, Virginia, seeing these guys do the Tiny Desk, man, it's absolutely amazing, man. So I think I'm rambling, but listening to this Clipse album, it just made me learn that when you spend time on your craft, you double down. When you're authentic, you're going to reap the rewards. I'm not sure what it's going to do sales like. If these guys do about 50K first week, being in the game for 25 years, I think that's a win. That'll be absolutely amazing for these guys. But seeing the numbers they're doing on like the So Be It video, Ace Trumpets, the Tiny Desk is going to be at 1 million views within a couple of days. So much anticipation behind this project. They're selling the vinyls, album cover, all of these interviews, Joe Budden podcast, Breakfast Club. Seeing them do all of this stuff, like, it's just so amazing, man. And I think, yo, to stand the test of time, you got to stay authentic, evolve with your audience, but don't forget why they love you. Pusha T, Malice, they still do the coke stuff, but they're able to revert from coke bars to God bars so amazingly, man, and the audience is growing with them. These guys are 48 and I think 52 respectively. These guys look so young as well, and you're seeing the way that they've grown, they've taken care of themselves. It's just amazing, man. So grow with your audience, be authentic, and you're going to be successful no matter what.